La cucaracha. ¡Hey! Tin, tiriririririri. Hola a todos. Buenas tardes y bienvenidos a mi canal. Hoy tengo mucho té para ti, ¿ok? So, let's start, ¿ok? Bad Boys, Dominican Republic, episode 2. So we've got Jada and Noel, guys. Jada and Noel. The episode starts with obviously Jada and Noel running a fight, which was how the previous episode had ended, right? So Jada and Noel, Jada connected multiple times when they fought outside, to be quite honest with you. Like, the fight outside, when they took that fight outside, it started like, I feel like it got real. Jada was kind of connecting a lot, and that's also another part where I started to see that Jada actually kind of could be considered a heavy hitter. We still yet to kind of see, but so far, Jada's not really disappointing when it comes to like fighting. You understand? Like, he ain't scary. He can hit hard sometimes, you know what I'm saying? A lot of times. Because a lot of times it looks like he be dropping these niggas like shit. So yeah, Jada got in and Noel was like, you can't beat me up. And then, you know, just like that, he got yeeted into New Yorkshire. Like, I was like, New Yorkshire who? Cause damn, sir. When it comes to Noel, I'm just gonna be honest. Noel is one of the cast members that we can say, like, okay, we know you can't really fight. And I mean, at some point later on, he does mention, like, he had his first fight on the show. So he mentioned that he doesn't come from a fighting background, which, I mean, it kind of makes sense. I don't want to justify it though, because, bro, there's some people out there that have never really been in a fight in their lives, but they're able to defend themselves. Because at the end of the day, you don't always have to know how to actually fight. Like, you don't need to, like, fighting, yes, it's a strategic thing, but you don't always have to be strategic about it. Sometimes it's just about defending yourself. That's it. Just defend yourself. Just, like, literally. Sometimes you could just people could look at you as a good fighter just by you defending yourself properly. Anyway, Noel, it's okay. I feel like Noel, you have to kind of learn. You'll learn as you go, okay? Cool. So, el Señor, Señor is set to enter the house. And Shadi tried to run up on Jada. You know what I'm saying? So the reason why El Señor is here to enter the house is because El Señor, his finger is desconectada from the previous episode, right? So he had to go to the hospital because it was kind of like, it was actually broken. I think at first he didn't realize the severity of the injury. Like, he probably thought like he just like sprained his finger or something, but it was actually broken, or like, yeah, so he had to go to the hospital. So El Señor, he was set to come back to the house, and, you know, at that time Shadi tried to run up on Jada, but yeah, Jada done Uno reversed up on your ass. Like, I ain't gonna lie, like, Jada is not the one or the two or the three to motherfucking play with. Like, Jada really on that shit. I'm not gonna lie, like, he impressing me a little bit. I mean, apart from picking on Noel with the whole grandpa situation, cause I mean, it's like, I mean, you're a heavy hitter, bruh, like, but at the same time, have some heart. You know what I'm saying? Like, anyway, Jada done Uno reverse up on that ass, and Shadi was just like, but to be quite honest with you, I noticed something. Shadi has this thing of like trying to like run up on Jada. Like, he won't really like let Jada either run up on him, or like he won't like run up on Jada in the face. Like, he'll wait until Jada is in like a weak moment or like a weak spot, and then he'll try to attack. But I don't blame you, bruh. To be quite honest with you, I don't blame Shadi, because first of all, Jada is bigger than Shadi. Like, muscle mass wise, and I think like physically, like maybe taller and a bit like more musclier. So Jada's a heavy hitter and Jada ain't a pussy. So I low-key don't blame Shadi, because Jada is not really somebody that's going to be easy to run up on, especially if you are smaller than him. He isn't someone that is easy to run up on. If you're trying to run up on Jada, like you gotta run up, because if you don't run up properly, if you don't come correct, Shadi stand on his business. Like, Shadi stand on business. You know, because I like the way he ain't allowing himself to be, like, walked around the house like a dog. Like, he ain't allowing these bitches to walk him like a dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, Shadi on that shit, like, you know, yo, don't fuck with me, cool, whatever. But at the same time, I'm not your fucking dog. So, you know, cool, you know, respect to Shadi, because he's standing on their business, because they really trying to get this nigga out the house, though. Like, look at it. They really trying to get Shadi out the house, but he ain't trying to leave. So that's what I'm saying, like, respect, bro, respect. So now we have El Juan in Cecito. El Juan and Cecito are, like, going back and forth as usual. Anyway, so Juan and Cecito are going back and forth, and, you know, Jada tried to run up on Shadi. And I'm, as much as I usually say, like, you know, if you're trying to run up on someone, like, you kind of like pussy, but in this instance, I'm not gonna say that, because Shadi's been trying to, like, kind of sneak Jada, and I think Jada is, at some point, is gonna start realizing that, no, man, this man keeps trying to, like, sneak me, like, in, like, my vulnerable points, or at my vulnerable stages, like, you, like, almost all the time. For example, like, you tried, when you try to sneak, like, Jada now, and I keep saying sneak because Shawty was standing like he ain't even doing nothing. Like, he was standing like he's just, like, you know, breathing air. And then, like, out of nowhere, you just, and next minute, you know, you're charging at Jada. You wasn't charging 2 seconds ago, girl. You was standing like you was just fucking breathing some oxygen. You was breathing out too, bitch. 2 seconds ago. And then 3 minutes later, your ass is charging for me. Get the fuck out of here. So I feel like Jada was, like, really starting to pick that up, and, like, Jada was now at that point where it's like, since you keep trying to, like, fight me, or, like, you keep trying to, like you keep trying to, you know, like, sneak me, so I'm gonna fetch you now. Now I'm gonna fetch you, and you ain't finna say shit. So Jada tried to run up on Shadi, cause he like, yo, it's like that, huh, Shadi? Shadi get down, good lord. Anyway, Jada, like, when Jada tried to, like, run up on Shadi, like, the security was, like, not having it. And that's also another thing that I know, like, that Jada's a heavy hitter, or, like, some sort of a threat, because security is very hard on him. I don't know if you all have noticed, but, like, security will literally pull Jada into a whole other, like, I've noticed every time Jada gets into a fight, the security will literally pull him into Puerto Rico, like, literally. Not even Puerto Rico, Mexico. Like, Mexico, bruh. Every time Jada gets in a damn fight, the security guards will run and pull Jada into Mexico, and the other person gets to stay in the Dominican Republic. And it's crazy because even if the other person has the upper hand, that's why I'm saying I know Jada. Like, Jada got there, and security know it, because even when Jada is kind of losing, they still put him into Mexico. Porque, like, because, you know, he's heavy hitter. So, congratulations to you, Jada, because you kind of the heavy hitter at this point. And as well, because we was expecting it to be El Juan. You know, El Juan, the veteran, you know, household leader, controller, like controller. Yeah, like controller. Yeah. But anyway, you know what I'm saying? So the security guard, they pulled Jada back into Mexico so that Saudi don't get fucked up. You know what I'm saying? But after that happened, El Juan and Seisito, they start, like, another auction session. And when I say auction session, I mean like trying to catch a fade. Like Juan and Cecito are busy again, back and forth again. Landon initiates a house meeting addressing, the beefs and, pending fades. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause there's a lot of beefs and there's a lot of pending fades and there's a lot of smoke in the air. So Landon's calling a house meeting so he can find out the fuck what's up. And apparently Landon wrote, well, he said it, but I'm on, apparently, Landon, he wrote everyone's name on a paper. So basically this is how it went. Landon wrote on A4 paper. I'm not saying A4 specifically, but I'm just giving you like the scenario. He wrote on A4 everybody's name, and then he passed the paper around to everybody, obviously. So everyone was supposed to basically vote somebody out. So you tick next to somebody's name the one that you want to leave the house, right? So when he passed it around to the cast, telling them what to do, like, everyone voted, and then when the votes got out, he told Noel that he was the most voted. So basically Noel was the most voted on the paper, which means the house voted Noel to leave. And I'm not going to say obviously not the whole house, but he had the majority vote. So basically Landon was like, well, bitch, you was on the list, he was on the hit list, so what's up, what's up, So yeah, and Landon with the shoes on the sofa, but so he's kind of like, awesome. You was on the list. Now what, bitch? So Noel resisted the notion, cause it's like, bitch, fuck you and your list, okay? You can take that A4 and shove it the fuck, okay? Bitch, okay? That's what Noel's on. So Noel, she resisted the notion, and then Noel and Landon ended up running a fade. You know what I'm saying? So, Landon gets up on the sofa with the shoes, and then was like, what's up? And then ran into with Noel. And Noel at some point, that was like, it's almost like equal, like they were kind of tying with each other. Noel almost had seemed to have the upper hand at some point, but then the security broke it up, so it was just like, that first round, I don't know if anyone really won. I feel like it was kind of like, meh, but yeah. So right after Landon and Noel's fade, Pooty, he ran his one with Noel. It's not Pooty's first time fighting on the show. Pooty fought the first time with El Senor and actually broke El Senor's finger, apparently. Because after the fight with El Senor, that's when he was complaining about the finger. So El Senor and Pooty, So at that point, I think maybe security is also thinking that Pooty is a heavy hitter and Noel's not really that much of a hitter, so security really defends Noel. That's for sure. They defend Noel, they got her, so yeah, but the way they move Noel around is kind of funny. I'm sorry, the security was moving Noel around like a chess piece, away from Pooty, but I'm just like, yo, they moving this nigga like chess piece, bitch, shit. Lynx strongly feels like Chiquito should go home, cause he ain't a bad boy. So Lynx requested a fresh fade. And at first Lynx okay, so Lynx was like, Chiquito ain't no bad boy. He need to go home. This one need to go a casa, okay? Ahora. So Lynx is like, you can go home, cause you ain't no bad boy, she ain't no diva. Lynx got in with Chiquito, and cause he wanted that fade, so they ran up, and Lynx ended up on the floor. First round, he ended up on the floor, I'm not gonna lie. So it ended up looking like Lynx got that in. So the first round, we're gonna give it to Chiquito, not Lynx, but Chiquito. So Chiquito got it in, first round, Chiquito. We say Chiquito, right? So Chiquito got Lynx on the floor, right? And then after, they ran another fade, or another round. But this time, Lynx got Chiquito in the face. And and at that point, Chiquito was like semi knocked out. Like, I don't know what Lynx did, but like he really got Chiquito in the face, and then like Chiquito was like looking like semi knocked out. Like he was knocked out, but he was still conscious. The medic was doing CPR on Chiquito's face, like there, like on the side, and it was like showing like they were really trying to resuscitate his face. Like shit, they really got Chiquito, guys. They got Chiquito, but I mean, you at least you're sitting there with your real hair, you know. You're sitting there with your real hair. Anyway, let's move on. Alpha, he mentioned that like the fights it's just being random. You know, like Alpha just feels like nah, these niggas just be starting random fights and like y'all just be on some random shit. Like, and to be quiet, I'm not gonna lie. Alpha, he had a point. He had a point because Juan misheard Seisito. Okay, like let's start there. Juan misheard Seisito, and the thing that kind of pisses me off about it is that like he keeps running with what he misheard. You know what I'm saying? Like he keeps running with what he misheard. The thing with Juan and Seisito. Okay, so Seisito says, "I got something for you," right? Juan and Seisito, they had like their own fade that they had to run, and you know, Seisito, he was like, "I got something for you." And then Juan, I don't know how, I don't know why, I don't know where, and Juan decided to hear Seisito say like, "I got someone for you." So now like Juan has this whole thing like, oh, you know, Seisito, he can't stand on his own, he need alliances, and you always now Seisito has got someone for me, and it's like, bruh, like just sit down at this point. So you know, Seisito, he told Juan to like shut his bitch ass up. Like the way those two like be going on with each other. But anyway, Seisito, he told Juan to shut his bitch ass up, and Juan ran up on Seisito, cause I mean at that point, to be quite honest with you, I expected that. You know, Juan at the end of the day, like I feel like he tolerates a lot because he knows the environment that he's in, and he knows what this whole job or this whole thing comes with. But also gets to a point, yo, cause I mean the moment Seisito called El Juan a bitch ass nigga, heavy emphasis on bitch, I think that is el momento where El Juan was like, oh hell no. So that's when like El Juan decided to like run up on Seisito, and you know he got that. So at that point, you know, El Juan, he ran up on Seisito and he deported Seisito into Sacramento. Like, wow. Like, that was, I'm sorry, the way Juan tackled Seisito was like, it was like, nah, bruh. Like, the way he, like, just got him, like, nah, bro. That was some real football shit. Like, that was some real-ass football shit. I was like, nah, Juan, where you learn that? Anyway, after the whole squabble between El Juan and Seisito, instead of hitting like Seisito, like, you know, he just footballed him 19 acres across the room. So it was just like, that's why I'm not gonna say it was a fight. I'll just say that incident. That fight between El Juan and Seisito, when like El Juan just decided to like tackle Seisito, that just looked like a Super Bowl promo. Like that looked like a Super Bowl promo, bro. Cause I was like, Super Bowl, huh? I was just thinking like of that Bad Bunny song from the Super Bowl. Si te quieres chivechi, tung 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 tung. Like Nueva York. Like, but anyway. So some of the boys know. Like next scene, like some of the boys are sitting at the pool, right? And you know, they're just getting stuff off their chest, having a little bit of a chat with each other, and they were just like discussing like the phase that had been had. You know what I'm saying? And just like talking about like how shit ain't sweet and shit like that. So At that point, El Señor, he arrives. Like El Señor Pez, he arrives. Because remember, El Señor Pez was fighting with Pooty. And Pooty broke El Señor Pez's finger. So because El Señor Pez had his finger desconectada, he had to go to the hospital to get his finger checked and fixed so that he can come back and run a fade. Okay, he shocked me, surprised me with coming with a church auntie like skirt and a crop top sweater. Like, I like the crop top sweater, it looked nice, but the church auntie skirt, like, that shit, like, took me out. Like, I was, like, thrown off. I was like, okay, girl. Okay, church auntie. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. So, yeah, there was, like, El Señor coming in the house with the hallelujah skirt and a crop top sweater. But the camera then pans back to the boys outside who were sitting by the pool, and basically Jada was saying like he wants one with Shadi, cause he feel like Shadi, like he feel like he need that, you know what I'm saying? And Shadi at that point like he's saying like he doesn't have beef, cause he's not interested in the fade and all that, and Jada keeps insisting on that fade. So at this point, it looks like Shadi kind of being scary because, like, you don't want that fade, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, like, it's just like, yeah, you don't really want that. You don't want it like that. You don't. So Jada's like, I want that fade. And Shadi's like, nah, I don't want. But anyway, Shadi then tries to sneak Jada, like, from the back. So I don't know whether to say sneak. And I'm gonna say 50-50 because it wasn't a sneak, because at the end of the day Jada requested, or Jada was kind of like insisting on that fade, so the fade was finna been had. But my thing is like I'm saying with Shadi, when it comes to Shadi and Jada, like I keep saying, Jada's a heavy hitter, right? And when it comes to specifically Shadi and Jada, Shadi keeps trying to like catch Jada's weak spot, or he keeps trying to like hit Jada, like get Jada at like a weak point. Like Shadi ain't the type to like really run up on Jada like in Jada's face. Like it's like he has to wait until Jada's tying his shoelace or something. Like that's my thing, bruh. Shadi like he has to wait until Jada's tying his shoelace, or until Jada's picking his nose, or until Jada's like fucking playing with his dick. Like I don't know, cause Shadi just be waiting for Jada to be like not really like there. Because I'm really not here when I'm not there. You try to find my energy. But anyway, yeah, so that's what Shadi like he doing. So Jada's like, But anyway, like, yeah, so Shadi tried to then sneak Jada from the back. And, Jada was sitting at the edge of the pool. But then Jada got up faster than a ninja in Thor. And it was funny. Cause he got up, like, stopped immediately, and then, like, the way he just looked at Shadi, like, really bitch, or, like, really nigga, like, he looked at Shadi, like, you, like, really bitch, really, But that's what he looked like, though, like, he looked so annoyed, like, he looked so... So Jada stood up like real quick on some bitch the fuck, and then Jada and Shadi obviously they ran their fade in the pool, bro, in the pool. Like after the fight happened with Jada and Shorty in the pool, Island Boy he make an appearance in a horse. Island Boy, what what it do, wagwan. So yeah, so Island Boy he started explaining like where he makes his appearance, and everyone is cheering for him in the house, because there's some of the boys outside, and then there was like some of the boys inside. So the ones that was inside, like they like cheering for him, greeting him, and Island Boy he's dapping up all the boys, and he's introducing himself to los chicos, because to the ones that he hasn't met yet, at least, because some of them he's met them outside of the show, but some of los chicos he ain't know them, so he's like, yeah, wagwan, it's Island Boy. So after greeting everybody, Island Boy he started explaining like what the issue is between him and Jada, because at this point there's something happened between Island Boy and Jada. So Island Boy making it clear like, Jada, please, cause you guys know how it is with this house. Like, so yeah, he starts saying Island Boy decided to run up on Jada, but security, they broke the squabble up before anything could get nasty. And yeah, guys, it was like, to be quite honest with you, oof, Island Boy, we don't know that he's not like, it's not like it's his first time fighting, but we have to also remember, like I'm saying, Jada is not he's a heavy hitter, so it's not like Island Boy was just gonna come up in the house like and just like beat Jada. Like, no, bruh, you're not gonna like just come up and beat Jada. Like, but I do respect Island Boy though. I respect Island Boy because he ran that fight with Jada. That's what I'm saying. Like, I kind of respect Island Boy because he's like, Jada, you are a problem, but I'm gonna fuck you up, okay? Like, problem not no problem, big or not big, I'm gonna fuck you up, okay? So let's go. And then yeah, so then again they ran a fight. Island Boy and Jada, they decided to run a fight again, and this time they both connected. Like, I feel like they both connected. I could be wrong, but I mean, for me, I just feel like they both connected up until Island Boy like sent Jada flying on his ass like an Amazon Prime package. Like, yeah, Mr. DJ, some pandy replay. So yeah, Jada was on the flow. And at that point, I feel like Jada was, though I don't want to say embarrassed, but obviously at that point now you on the flow, so it's like you look like you losing and you look like you lost. Like, it's giving Nadzoli, you lost. Nadzoli, you lost. Nadzoli, you lost. So at that point, obviously Jada's not gonna just leave it just like that. She's gonna run that fight again and again and again. So they ran it again. Jada and Island Boy decided to run it again, and they ran another fight. But this time Island Boy is like, he tried to kick Jada, and I don't know what happened, but like Jada pulled Island Boy's leg and dropped his ass. Like, yeah, Jada got his leg back. Okay, he really got his leg back. Cause after that whole squabble, like that part now, Island Boy, they pulled his leg and he obviously wasn't like fine. Cause Island Boy at that point he had to go on a timeout outside. Like, he had to catch himself outside. He came in the house, was gonna catch me outside, but then shit, bitch, he was catching himself outside, Island Boy. But yeah, he got injured, and obviously, assuming because it was coming from that kick that he tried to put on Jada, but Jada pulled, I think he pulled Island Boy's leg or did something, but yeah, he was injured. But anyway, Jada tried to run up on El Señor, right? At that point, because he got one out of the way. Now it's like, next, who wants that? So now Jada tried to run up on El Señor, but El Señor dodged him. And it was funny because El Señor decided, I don't know how, why, what, where, when, who, how. El Señor did a whole cartwheel on his broken hand, and that was like that was kind of iconic in a way. Like, okay, positive side, it was iconic. Negative side is like, nigga, there's no freaking way. Like, I agreed with Pooty. I 100% agreed with Pooty. There is no motherfucking way you's in this bitch on some, I'm injured. You are literally ducking fades left, right, and center on some, oh, I'm injured, with your damn ass finger desconectado. But you out here doing cartwheels on your finger. Like, no, at that point. But anyway, so El Señor Pez decided to do the cartwheel on his hand, que desconectada. But yeah, so Pooty was like, how's this bitch out here in this bitch? Like. So after Jada trying to run up on El Señor Pez, Alpha feels like, these niggas is just out here looking for a storyline. And Alpha's been hella quiet. I'm not even gonna say kinda quiet. Alpha has been hella quiet. Last time I heard from this man was when he was like, having that whole thing with Cosinho. Like when Cosinho was giving a speech and then Alpha tried to say something and then Cosinho was like, hey, shut the fuck up, nigga. And then La CEO Natalia was like, they told you to shut up? In Dominican Republic? What? Nah. So that was the last time we heard from Alpha, but Alpha is popping his shit in the confessional and he's like, I just feel like these niggas just be like wanting a storyline and they'll just be starting shit for everything, like everything just be starting shit. I feel like some of the fights that happen on the show, even though some of the fights might be forced, but there is some of the fights that make sense, like there is some of the fights that make sense. For a good example, Lynx and Chiquito. I feel like Chiquito and Lynx, they didn't really have to fight, but at the same time, them fighting, it wasn't for nothing, cause Lynx was trying to be a bro to Chiquito, and then Chiquito basically threw him under the bus on some, at least my hair is real. So next we've got Paris. So Paris goes outside to Island Boy to express how he feels about the whole disconnect between Island Boy and Jada, because Paris feels like, Island Boy and Jada, both of them is my friends. So to be having both of them going at each other like this is not something that was on my bucket list, or it's not something that he's comfortable with, right? And at that point, the Island Boy and Jada, the tension is high, and they just ended up screaming at each other because Island Boy, obviously he's pissed. The adrenaline is still high from his fight with Jada, so now it's like, don't talk to me type shit. And then you've got Paris going there like El Paris, oh my friend, mi amigo, ¿por qué? Tú eres mi amigo. I mean, tú eres mi amigo, ¿por qué? And Island Boy is just like, please, and it's understandable, now is not the time, El Paris, now is not the time for that. I understand they both your friends, I'm not saying El Paris is wrong, but now is not the time, bruh. The situation is highly escalated. The best thing that you can do at this point is try to find out what the problem is, and then if you really want to be the mediator, then find out what the problem is and then solve it. Don't go now telling the Island Boy, oh, but he's my friend too, and you my friend, and both of you is my friend, so what? No, that is not going to solve the situation. So next, we've got preview for the next episode. Lynx accused Landon of taking a picture of him behind his back. Now, I could only assume that it was an inappropriate picture or something of that sort. Now, next episode seems like it's gonna be packed. The fuck. Place was being thrown, Seisito and Juan, they got into it again on the sprinter, it was just a lot, but we just have to wait for the next episode, y'all. So if you like this one, please don't forget to like, subscribe, share the video, and I'll catch you in the next episode. What's up?